Welcome, one and all, to a very, very special edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my fellow Hans Zimmer appreciator, Jayden.
Hi.
And PTA's number one fanboy, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. No. You can't do that. Remember, this is a night. This is an evening of awards. You know what I mean? This is a ceremonious occasion. We can't expose the fact that it's literally in the morning, you know?
Is it less ceremonious if it's in the morning?
I think it is. You know, I think it is. I want everyone to picture us like sitting around a nice dinner table at Crown or something. You know, if they were to let us in.
There's no dinner table, only poker tables.
Yeah, unless imagine this: we've booked out the Brownlow Medal area. Imagine that, because we can afford that. By the way,
and we filled our tables with the friends and family of the show.
Exactly.
And they just don't get to talk because they respect us.
It's crazy. They're actually staring at us right now, thoroughly engaged in our conversation, but just laughing and smiling and not saying anything. But we've got a treat for you today, ladies and gentlemen. This is Cinema Effect, if you don't know, the podcast where we normally review and talk about a different movie every single Monday, but this is our season finale episode for the year, our final episode of 2021, and it is our second annual Cinema Effect Awards. Which is crazy. I made a joke in the last episode, the last one we did of this last year, about this being annual, you know? And here we are. It's actually like at least somewhat annual now. I don't know how long it'll go for, but we have a second one. So that's wild. Anyway, you can find the show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe and all those things if you enjoy. Follow the Instagram page, do all that stuff. We'd love you to join the Discord. We normally ask a question of the week, get involved right in. But anyway, this episode is the awards show. We're going to have a few different categories as we did last year. We've changed them up slightly in tiny little ways that we'll get into. But basically, to celebrate the year that was 2021, both in cinema and in this show's history, we're going to do a few fun activities. The first of which will be us going over our top 5 movies of 2021. So how this is going to work. Jayden, Liam, myself have a top 5 list of the best movies we watched that released in 2021. And we're going to take turns going all the way from 5 to 1. And then we have a point system, which we did last year, which I hope it's not too confusing, you know. Number 5, any movie that places number 5 on our list gets 1 point. Fourth gets 2 points, so on till first gets 5 points. And that's how you achieve a combined ranking, ladies and gentlemen. So that's that. All right. To celebrate 2021 in movies, let's just do it. What order did I do this in? I think I did Jayden first last time. So
that sounds about right.
I think so. Yeah. You're first in the intro. That's what I did. So, Jayden, kick us off for the awards this year. Top 5 movies of 2021. What is your 5th movie?
Well, before I get into it, I think my criteria for what is a 2021 movie has changed, because last year I did it strictly by, the release information, whatever the date is, I went by that. Whereas now it's just if it got what is wide release in 2021 is what I've kind of got it as.
Okay.
Or whatever your rules were last year. It's pretty much what I'm abiding by that, yeah.
So have we swapped our rules, our criteria?
Yeah. Have you swapped it? Have you gone the other way?
I've not strictly, but like last year when I manipulated it to get the gentleman in, I don't think I would have done that this year, you know?
Okay.
But of course, do whatever you like, and I'm glad you brought that up to clarify, of course, yes.
Right. Well, anyway, coming at number 5 for me is a documentary that I spoke about a few weeks ago on the show, which is Angèle. It's about this French, Belgian, pop star.
Oh, yes.
It's just an hour and 30 minutes insight into her life and the way it's told through her words, and that's kind of something that they're pretty heavy on in the marketing about. It's her story in her way, because they've kind of dug up her diaries and then taken excerpts from that, and kind of it's just her talking, and it's really well told. It's really, even if you're not into her, even if you don't know her, I think it's a pretty accessible documentary. I think you can just watch it and be engaged and be informed. So that's my number 5.
Terrific. And that's on Netflix, right?
Correct.
Cool. All right, Liam, 5th movie. Let's go.
Well, I should say first of all that I've actually taken Jayden's rules from last year, which is that only 2021 labeled on Letterboxd. And also I should say that there's like 5 films coming out the next month that could definitely be on this list that I haven't seen yet.
Yes, and that's the same. I should have said that. That's the same for TV shows because I know The Witcher came out yesterday, and I'm stoked to get into that. So yes, of course, good point.
My number 5 is The Last Duel. Just a juicy, drama film. It's really great.
So juicy.
Well directed, well acted, some really interesting performances. I think the way the message is delivered is really cool, and it's a very just captivating film. I still remember the Coke I had because it was so cold, and it was just that theater. Everything about it was memorable. Just being in the theater alone, and yeah.
Are you a regular Coke person, not a Coke Zero?
Actually, it might have been Pepsi because don't they have Pepsi at Village? Yeah,
they do. I think I think that's true.
How vividly do you actually remember it, man?
Well, what I remember was the ice and how cold it was, and that matched the film because the film was so cold.
The film
was all wintry. Yeah.
But you don't normally get ice, right?
No, you do.
I do. I don't get it with McDonald's. I say
okay,
no ice.
Okay, because I've definitely seen you order no ice at McDonald's. But okay, all right, that's interesting. Anyway, The Last Duel, very good. My number 5 film is Coda. This is an Amazon. No, it's not. It's an Apple. Both A's. Apple TV Plus film, which it's a coming of age story which follows a child of a deaf adults, which I learned is what Coda means as the acronym. And it's pretty standard, I would say, in terms of the story it follows, and it's sort of your go-to coming of age story, but it's all in the execution with those kind of things, and it was just a lot of fun. It was a great watch. The characters are great, super funny, super charming and likable. Just it was such a great watch. I had such a great time watching it. It's not going to surprise you in any crazy way, but if you like sort of, I don't know, teen stuff, coming of age stuff, with, of course, the unique sort of twist on it, on this one being the fact that you're exploring a modern deaf family and the dynamics that plays with are super interesting and I found quite insightful. So really enjoyed the movie, and it is my number 5 for 2021. Jayden, what is your number 4?
This is where the years get a bit confusing because Letterboxd has it 2020, but Netflix has it 2021. So, but it's an anime film called Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. It's just a really quaint, very nice film. There's a good deal of melodrama, I guess. It's just a film that's so imbued with heart that it's, like if you watch this and don't fall for any of the characters, I'd be surprised, and like I don't know, there's just a good deal of emotions flying about, and like, it made me emotional. Not the relationship, but like there's this old man with dementia, and it's just there's a certain scene there that's hard. But the film is built on moments like that where it's just little scenes that are really, really strong. It's just got a cute little story. Words bubble up like soda pop.
Wait, so can you say the name again?
Words bubble up like soda pop.
Words bubble up. Okay, got it.
Because so I should, like, the main character writes haiku as a way of expressing his emotions because he can't really speak to people. So well, he can, but like he struggles. So like, I think that's a haiku in Japanese because of the syllable count.
7 syllables, yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know, something.
5. So wait, 5. Yeah, 5 syllables for the first and last line, 7 in the middle. I think that's what it is. Haikus are cool. I like haikus a lot. So
you like this movie a lot. Yeah.
I think I should check it out. I think I should. Fitzy, number 4.
My number 4 is Pig, which is a film I saw at the PIV in Geelong.
The PIV?
Pivotonian, yeah.
Do people say that, the PIV? You go down to the PIV?
Yeah, people say that.
I've never heard that before.
I've never heard it either, but I'm going to start saying it now.
That's what I say.
That's great.
Yeah, this is a film that kind of really weird premise that it pulls off. So it's Nicolas Cage. He loses his truffle pig, and the film is like segmented into these 3 chapters. It's a very like slow lyrical kind of film. Like very kind of brooding mood. It's kind of a revenge film, but the revenge is it's not a revenge film, but it's like he owns people with emotions, kind of. It's very weird what actually happens in the film. It all ties into the message, and it becomes really like heartfelt. The more it goes on, the more you kind of vibe with it, and you understand these broken characters and everything. So yeah, I really love to Pig.
Cool. Oh, well, I'm looking forward to that coming to streaming of some sort. I feel like that feels like an Amazon thing, you know. I feel like Amazon picks up those sort of films. So I'll wait for that. What about you, Jayden?
Hmm?
Oh, you already did your number 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's my turn. My number 4 is The Last Duel. I won't go on too long, but I agree with everything Fitzy said. I think the film's great. Thoroughly enjoyed it. High tier Ridley Scott for me at the moment, and it's a shame it didn't do great because I know it's on Disney Plus now, so people can watch it that way, which is great. But it's a very clever film. I really enjoyed it, and I love the structure of it, the way in which it tells its story and it plays out with the different perspectives. That sort of thing is really cool and clever. The way it uses its lead actors to sort of enforce, or the fact that it has famous lead actors to sort of enforce it thematically is really clever. And I think there are moments in the film, I was actually reflecting about this, where, like, in terms of, hard to say without spoilers, but in terms of what the film is about, I think there are moments where it could have gone in different directions that would have come across as less interesting to me, maybe more straightforward and just bland. And it sort of always chooses to go in its story. It chooses the more intriguing, clever. It chooses the more interesting path, I feel like, in its narrative a few times, which I really appreciated about it. But anyway, The Last Duel, very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. Now it is time for number 3, and I pass it back to Jayden correctly now.
Number 3 on my list is Denis Villeneuve's Dune. I mean, like, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, so I don't really know how much I can waffle on about it, but, It's just brilliant. I mean, I say brilliant, I don't know. It's fantastic, we'll say. It really is in scope and story and just everything else that has been implemented. I just really think it is a fantastic and engrossing journey. One it's not, flawless, but it is close to perfect.
Terrific. And you can go and listen to our extended episode on that. We did a couple of weeks ago if you want our full thoughts. So yeah. Fitzy, number 3.
My number 3 is a little film called Dune.
I think I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah? I understand, like, there's this feeling that it's not like a world-changing film because it's another amazing Denis Villeneuve sci-fi film, And you have Blade Runner 2049, which is, like, it's more complete, like, narrative, like, with, like, the characters and the story and everything. And this is just a part 1. But, no, like, it's a very full, it feels like a very full adaptation. Like, it feels like the world building is amazing. Like, the feel especially is, like, just really something. Like, everything feels just scary and huge, and yeah, like, everything, like the soundtrack and cinematography and the effects are just epic. So yeah, Dune, number 3.
Very good. Sorry to break the pattern here. My number 3 is A Quiet Place Part 2. We also did an episode on this, so you can go back and listen to that. We did mid-year. But God, I love this movie. Really enjoyed it in the cinema. More so than I even expected, because I liked the first one. Wouldn't say I love it or found it super memorable, but I enjoyed it, And so when Jane said, "Oh, let's go and review this sequel," I was like, "Oh, I'm down," but I'm not thrilled or anything. I'm like, "Sure, let's go." But it really delivered for me. I really enjoyed the expansion of that world and the different characters and Cillian Murphy, and just it just has such a great vibe and the sound, of course, and just we talked about it a lot in that review, but the experience of being in a cinema with other people, not too many other people in my case, which the more people the better, but that communal experience of the entire film's gimmick being centered around sound and you feel like you hear other people breathing, and it's like you want everyone else to shut up. It's a really clever, I think, horror experience. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Now it's time for number 2, Jayden.
My number 2 is No Time to Die, the final installment of Daniel Craig as 007. This has been a film that's been long awaited, very long awaited. And, like we discussed in the show previously, in a little highlights segment, it's the perfect Bond film for me. It's the perfect way to wrap up Daniel Craig's James Bond for me. And I recognize that it's not entirely for everyone else, like Liam. But, when we're talking about personal top 5s, this ranks pretty high. I don't know, I think it's fantastic. I think Hans did a wonderful job. I think Craig delivers one of his best Bonds, I think. Yeah, I don't know, it's really fantastic. And although its runtime's like 2 hours and 40, you don't feel it at all. No Time to Die.
Yeah, I definitely didn't feel it. Fitzy, number 2.
Number 2, The Hand of God. This is Italian cinema right here. This is
Oh.
It's a very weird film. So it's kind of semi-autobiographical, and it's just about this teen or kid's life in this place in Italy, and it reminded me a lot of 8.5 in some ways, and just like the way 8.5 uses like specific people or things that are from like the character's past. Like there was like that scene with a singer in 8.5, and that was like something from that character's childhood or something. And that's kind of what this whole film feels like. Like there's these weird inclusions, like this kid monk character, and like these like weird characters that are like very specific, and they feel specific to this person. So it's kind of an alienating film because everything feels kind of alien, I guess, but it feels like someone else's world, someone else's life. And it's very, the cinematography is really great. It's really a good looking film, and I just really loved it. Yeah. Hand of God.
Okay. My number 2 film is June. And everything you guys have already said, everything we said in the review, it's a terrific movie. Every time I think about it, I think I want to get it on Blu-ray or something, but I just think of the scale, the scales. Yeah. Physical media wins, baby. I just think of the scale and the effects, of course. I was listening to Christopher Nolan talk to Denis about the film, some Q&A they did somewhere. And Chris worded it way better than like what I was trying to say in the review, in that it's the melding of the photography, the live action photography and the visual effects, the way they work together in the film is the best he'd ever seen. And that's exactly, I couldn't agree more with that statement. Everything, all the CG stuff just feels so a part of that world and so authentic to it, and doesn't stand out in any weird way or, doesn't feel off in any way. It's just terrific. It's a great film. And outside of that, of course, the characters, the story, it's all great. It's all great. All right. Now it's time for our number 1 favourite movies of 2021, at least so far. Jayden.
This is going to be a bit controversial to some listeners, Andy. He's already expressed his disappointment, although he hasn't even seen it. My number 1 film is this Chinese coming-of-age film called Upcoming Summer. I mean, I don't know, it's just fantastic. It is really, really wonderful. It's not revolutionary, it's not mind-blowing, but it is just, fantastic for me. Kind of, obviously I can't relate to the Chinese experience, but melding, growing up in the high school kind of thing with ADM kind of scene, that's just, because I was massively into dance music, especially in the later ends of high school, so like, that kind of felt tailored towards, kind of my experience a bit. And just seeing the way the characters evolve, and it's wickedly funny and tragically heartbreaking. I don't know, man. It's a 10 out of 10. It's just, I don't think a lot of people will have the same experience with it. I think a lot of people will say it as rather mid. But I don't know, man. I was in it for every second.
Absolutely. Is this the film that what's the scores look like on Letterboxd for this? Is it
I don't know. They're probably low threes.
right? Yeah. No, because I was going to say if I think I saw that. Like I just
3.3.
want
Yeah.
3.3. Like I love that. I love like the fact that there's a movie that's like a 3.3 and you can you see the distribution and it's like most people give it mid or whatever and then you give it 5 stars. Like I think that's all no, genuine. I think that's awesome. I don't think I have a movie like that. And I sort of am jealous. I wish there was a movie where I'm like I don't give a shit, what you think. This is a 10 out of 10 to me. I think that's great. All right. Fitzy.
My number one is 4.0 Evangelion 4.0 Rebuild.
Oh no.
It's 3.0 plus 1.0.
3.0 Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time is the full title.
Really?
Yeah, that's the name of the film.
Oh, all right. Sure.
Yeah. So I watched the rebuilds just to get to this to see if it'd be on my list, and it's on my list. There you go. It's a really good final Evangelion film, and I don't love everything about it. I don't love everything about the rebuilds. The character depth in this and the hopeful journey it decides to take finally is really great. It defies your expectations in the first third. It becomes really like a lot more meditative. They go to this village. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic village, and you kind of have time to breathe with the characters for the first time in Evangelion in a way that feels like that's never happened before. That just happens with every character in the film, and I feel like Shinji has the best actual arc in this film, and you come to understand his father, and some awesome animation for just like another end of world kind of situation, like End of Evangelion. Although I still prefer End of Eva, but it's just a very nice film. Except for anime-isms that are very egregious, but yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. My number one is No Time to Die. Absolutely loved it. It's weird. I'm looking forward to rewatching it because there are still like little things that sort of like nitpicky things that I'm like, I don't know about that. Don't know about that line. Don't know about that little moment. Just like little things like. But goddamn, like as a whole, I just had such a good time in the cinema watching this movie. Man, it was a blast. It felt like a celebration of this Daniel Craig Bond franchise, which I've grown to really like. I don't know, man, just the way it honoured all the previous films and was great in its own right and had terrific action, and it hit on almost every cylinder for me. It was definitely my most memorable film I saw in the theatre this year. Absolutely loved it, no doubt. So how does this work now? Jane, was that your number 2, right? No Time to Die?
Yeah. So that's
Right.
a 9-point film. Then.
Yeah. So June wins. June got 10 points. If you guys both put it at 3, I put it at 2. So yeah, there you go. The way the points work. I hope that wasn't too confusing. June, I guess, is our combined movie of the year. So that's a great choice. You can't go wrong with that. All right, now we'll do our top 3. This will be obviously briefer, but we of course need to celebrate the year that was in television as well. We did review one TV show this year, which I'm sure is going to be our number ones, all of us, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, don't forget. No, but we're reviewing this is our top 3 TV series of 2021. What counts as a TV series in 2021, to clarify, is any TV show that had a season release in 2021. That is the criteria. So let's just go back to Jayden. Let's just keep this rolling. Jayden, number 3 TV shows.
I don't actually know what's been released this year that much. So like, I don't know like how much things I've missed out. So like, I've got but I'll start off with Squid Game, South Korean sensation that took the world by storm.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was very good. I don't know. It was a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, like, yeah, I really don't have much more to say. I guess it's Squid Game.
Everyone knows Squid Game.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen that thing. Fair enough. Fitzy, number 3.
My number 3 is Arcane, which is hype as hell, bro. The hype is
It's
film.
so
The hype
hype.
is
That is the best word to describe it, by the way. It is hype.
hypest TV show this year. No, yeah, I mean it's awesome. Amazing animation. All the characters have their motivations and journeys, and they all intersect in really interesting ways. And I think out of these shows, it was the one I binged the fastest or any show this year. It was just really addictive, and I cannot wait for more arcane content. It was just awesome.
Definitely. I'm surprised it's not higher, for you to be honest. It's not on my list because I haven't finished it quite yet. I've got 2 episodes to go at the moment. My number 3 is Sex Education. Season 3 came out this year. This is a show that my brother convinced me to watch. God damn, it's a great show. I was so won over, dude. I couldn't believe it, honestly. I was flabbergasted. He was a fan for a long time. He recommending it to me. He's like, I'll rewatch it. I'm like, oh, sure, I'll give this thing a go. I don't know anything about this. Anyway, started like the first half of season 1. I'm like, it's all right. It's pretty good. Like I wasn't over the moon about it. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll keep watching this. It's fairly entertaining, I guess. But goddamn, like, dude, by the end of like season 2 was a blast, and then it just kept going. And by the end of season 3, that show is terrific. It's very funny, genuinely. It's that great melding. Like, I'm someone who doesn't. I think you guys know I don't really enjoy sitcoms and sort of lighter like that 22-minute comedy vibe. But this I really enjoyed in that I think it is a comedy, but it very much is still centered around its characters, has plenty of still dramatic moments and beats, and it just all really worked together for me. I just really enjoy the cast, and I don't know, like throw me in a British high school, I'm probably going to like it. So it had a great vibe. I really was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. All right, Jayden, number 2.
Kind of tossing up whether to chuck this number 1 or 2. I think, yeah, I'll chuck it number 2. It's Midnight Mass, which both Liam and I have spoken about on the show before. Yeah, it really is just a great time. Really fantastic horror with a bit of gothic elements and religion. I love religion. I mean, I'm not a religious person, but I love religion. I love looking at it.
Yeah.
And I love how heavily imbued it is into the show. I love the actor. Oh, actors. I love one of the actors, I'll say. We love Rahul.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah.
My guy.
I think the only issue is that it might be a tad too long, if you shave off 5 minutes from each episode or even cut one out, and condense it a tad bit, it could be, better. But no, it really is a fantastic show that we,
Yeah, I'm curious about this. Fitzy sort of won me over with it. But yeah, we were also talking about this, Fitzy, that of criticism and just in general as I consume more TV, and I've noticed it especially this year. One of my main criticisms with TV as I watch more modern stuff is that I feel like shows are too long. I'm getting that, like, that was a criticism I had of Made, and I stand by that. So I don't know, it's something I've noticed as well, I think. Fitzy, number 2.
Number 2 is Mayor of Easttown.
Oh, I thought you said meh, like as in MEH, but sorry.
Oh,
You're
Mayor. No, Mayor.
Yeah.
Mayor of Easttown.
Yes.
This is narrative. This is goddamn narrative bullet. This is just a super great, fast moving detective show. Kind of when you look at the poster, it looks kind of tame, but it is not tame, sir. It is very electrifying, and even though the vibe is very family-esque, you get kind of, it's a community, you know everyone there. Come to learn these like characters from this very specific place, and they all feel very at home there. But yeah, just like the case, the way, the motivations that people have, that Maya has, I guess, for solving the case, and her history and everything. It's all very, very involving, very easily, and just the way the narrative turns out. It's just all these great twists and turns, and just like sudden moments that hit you very hard. So yeah, Mayor of Goddamn Easttown is my number 2.
That's great. Did you describe it as a narrative bullet? Is that what you said? Was that the quote? That's an awesome quote. I love that. My number 2 is Mr. In Between, the final season, the third and final season,
right.
released this year. Incredible show all the way through. Final season was awesome. It's such a memorable show for me. It's everything you want out of a TV show. It's what I keep saying about it. It's hilarious, it's dramatic, it's dark, it's got awesome characters, memorable characters. It doesn't waste a second, not a millisecond of your time, dude. It is very accessible and short at the end of the day, 20-minute episodes. It's the first time I've seen anyway like a really dramatic show where you can get so invested in the characters work in a 20-minute format. For me anyway, like it just really I was really surprised by that about it. And I've loved the show for years, but seeing it all come to a conclusion, that final episode was killer. God, it was awesome. It was so satisfying. Love that show. Highly recommend it, especially if you're from Australia out there, which I think our statistics suggest most of us are. Number 1 TV show of 2021. What is your favourite, Jayden?
My number 1 TV show of the year as of the moment is The Chestnut Man, which is the Danish crime thriller I spoke about a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a bit of a standard crime thriller, I guess. A bit Seven-esque, but set in Denmark. Yeah,
That's
I don't
cool.
know. It's just really strong overall. I love the way. I think I spoke about it in the episode, but I love the way they shoot Denmark. I love the colors they use. It's just so vivid, which it's kind of atypical for like crime thrillers because traditionally they want a bit more grittier, grounded, darker, tones. Whereas like this is like got plenty of like really like warm oranges and just strong colors and yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. Cool. Cool. That's good. That's good. All right, Fitzy, number 1. Number 1.
All right, I'm about to shock you all with this one.
Oh Jesus. Evangelion.
Season 3 of Succession is my number 1. Finished Monday. Finished this week. Yeah, this was an awesome season. It kind of it went into some characters that needed some time, some screen time. By the end of it finished arcs that you didn't know were there, kind of.
Oh, cool.
And it's the first time that I've kind of seen the show and like thought, like a distance from it, like that it's more of a satire than something you should believe in or anything like that. And like it is very bleak. Like there are like the relationships in the show are so damaged and so kind of fucked up, I guess. So yeah, and this season kind of made me realize that they're all kind of very sad people, but it's just a very fast-paced, great dialogue kind of show. It's very, very funny season. And there's just always great moments in every episode.
I don't know any specifics. I heard very strong things about that season finale.
Season finale was a goddamn banger, man. Season finale was great. Probably the best episode of the show. Yeah.
Awesome. My number 1 TV show of 2021 is absolutely Mayor of Easttown. It is one of the best shows I've ever seen. It is definitely the best limited series I've ever seen. It is killer for every reason that Fitzy mentioned. It is must watch. It's cinema, you know what I mean? It's I love using that as a compliment now. But just the vibe, the characters, it's so surprising. It keeps you guessing in the best way, not in dumb ways, just in the best way. The thematic core of the show is super satisfying. The emotional connection to the characters are very well thought out. The personal journeys there, by extension of the characters, are very well thought out. Yeah, and just I can't say enough about. Oh God, I'm blanking on a name. I feel bad.
Kate Winslet.
Thank you very much. Kate Winslet won the bet. Okay. That might be a top 5 performance of all time, in my opinion. It was incredible. So, absolutely, Mayor of Easttown is sensational. Number 1 for me. I don't know if we're doing the point thing for that, but I guess that means Mayor of Easttown wins. I don't know. I guess. As always, well, we normally do it at the end, but now we're going to hand the show over to you, the listener, with our question of the show. Last week, we asked you what are your favourite films and TV shows of 2021, get you involved in the conversation. Want to make sure other recommendations are heard, of course. Charlie said Wrath of Man and Arcane. Great choices. Both really enjoyable. Luke said Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm excited to talk about that movie more and just also ponder it more myself is what I'm excited about with that one. Jai said Squid Game, but he did it with all the upper cases, lower cases. Is this like Jayden? What is Jai's take on Squid
I think that's
Game?
him. I think that's him being sarcastic. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But do you know for a fact he doesn't like it?
I haven't even spoken to him about it actually. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no worries. He's probably just like saying it because he thinks it's the biggest show of the year. It's really popular. I assume that's where it comes from. Fair enough. MSB Music said Cobra Kai season 3. Yeah, he's being, as I said, he's being ironic because he's of the mind that Cobra Kai's got some of the worst acting of all time, and I kind of don't disagree with it. But it's a fun show anyway. Aiden said June was good, loved that movie, and then Aiden's got a ton of recommendations here. So, and I agree with most of them. Nobody, Wrath of Man, Zack Snyder's Justice League, The Suicide Squad. Probably my top picks for 2021 movies. And for TV shows, probably only Invincible and WandaVision was good too. Tons in there. Jayden shook his head violently at Zack Snyder's Justice League.
What a horrible experience that was.
Oh,
like
God.
I'm all about Zaddy. I'm very happy with most of his work, but
what an interesting filmmaker Zack Snyder is. I just appreciate him for what he is. Sometimes. Nobody was another good shout too. We all watched that, right? I really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Andy said, I haven't seen too many 2021 films, so options are quite limited. An honourable mention, firstly, the film that I found the most interesting was Nitram. Caleb Laundrie Jones, an American, somehow gives a really intriguing performance as a biographical Aussie character, something that surprised me the most. But my favourite movie of the year has been The French Dispatch. Recently saw it with one of your co-hosts. It's hard for me to dislike a Wes Anderson film, and of course, film of 2021 for me. Watch it before it leaves the theaters. Strong recommendation. Was that you, Fitzy, that he saw it with?
Yes, it was. It's Nitram, by the way. Just a correction.
Nitram.
Yeah.
Nitram. Yeah, they do say that in the film. That was another one that I can see it being in the top 10 for me. Like I did like it. So I must say, like Andy brought it up, dude, Caleb's performance was insane. I thought, because I had read that he was from Texas, but my brain was then like, after seeing the film, my brain was then like, oh, but it must be one of those things where like he's lived here since he was 5, or something. I was trying to justify how good the accent was in my head. No, you read the trivia, dude. He just came, I don't think he'd ever been here. He came here and just watched Neighbours for like a few weeks, and that's it. And that's how he got the accent. I was like, dude, that is crazy. It was very good.
So many other famous actors have failed at doing a convincing Aussie accent, but the key is just watching Neighbours.
That's right. The key is to pull off an Australian Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
You mean the show Neighbours? I thought you were saying like he watched Neighbours.
He's dead at his Neighbours.
Yeah. That makes more sense.
You're watching Neighbours and Home and Away, the trivia said.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Fair enough.
That was I was very impressed by that. So yeah, thank you all for your recommendations for 2021. It was an interesting year, I think. I really enjoyed. We went over everything. I really enjoyed TV shows. I think it was a bit of a weaker year overall for movies, at least in my opinion. But there's still more to see. There's still more to watch. So I guess that's not entirely definitive as of yet. Let's transition into, of course, the highlight of the show. Everyone just skipped this part. Everyone went straight to this timestamp. All right, the Cinema Effect 2021 award categories. We're going to be going over some very special awards that we're going to be awarding to, all based on the movies we watched this year. All right. So we got some sort of standard categories here, some Oscar categories, but of course, other categories that are sort of more specific to our lore and our show and what we discuss as well on the show. All right. Let's get started with the first category, the most standard category, and then it only gets more wild from here, with the best and worst performance from all the movies that the Cinema Effect crew reviewed this year. Jayden, what was your best and worst performance?
I'm glad I get to go first. My answer seems original. My best performance is Andy Serkis' Caesar. I mean, he plays an ape, and he plays it way too convincingly. It's everything we spoke about in all the reviews, like the expressiveness on his face, the tone of his voice. You know how seamlessly like he kind of transitions into that character is amazing. Yeah, so Andy Serkis is the best. Worst performance? We're kind of spoiled for choice. I'm gonna settle on going way back to the start of the year. That actually, I don't know if it's a bad performance or it's just a terrible time, but that little kid in Undertow, the one that just eats paint and mud,
He ate the glue or the paint or whatever, yeah.
And then just like spouts random dialogues about bugs and shit, and like, maybe it's not his fault, but no.
Spoiled for choice. I love that. Fitzy, best and worst performance.
Best performance is Nona Lee Portman in Black Swan. All-time great performance. Just imbues, perfectionism and innocence and the transition of that into, darkness and feelings, and man, it is a great performance. So yeah, that's my best. Worst performance, Nicole Kidman in Australia. She sucks. I love Nicole Kidman, but it's a bad performance. It's over dramatic. The movie sucks, and she sucks in that. So yeah.
Whoa, no holds barred. I think the best performance we reviewed this year, I agree with Jayden, I think it's Andy Serkis as Caesar. But I also want to shout out Oscar Isaac as Abel Morales, I believe was his name.
That was my backup. That was my fucking backup, yeah.
Cool, dude, cool. Yeah, terrific, dude. Oscar Isaac can't do wrong to me at this point, no matter in anything. And especially in that movie, I really enjoyed that movie. Actually, it sort of sits with me better the more time has gone on. And see him also this year in Ex Machina for the first time. Just God, he's killer in that movie too. Really, really enjoyed him. My least favorite performance, I mean, like the son from War of the Worlds. Didn't really like him very much. There's also Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3. So, yeah, there's that too. But I don't know. There were a few other options, I guess. That's what I came up with. But I don't know. Actually, I feel like it's worth mentioning here, either in best or worst performance. I feel like it belongs in both, actually, is Faramir in Australia. Best and worst performance. He is both. You know what I mean? He was terrific. I loved him so much. What's Jayden grabbing? What's he?
Nothing. Just keep going. Just keep talking.
Okay. Now it is time for best score of the movies we reviewed. Jayden, what are you going to show us here?
My best score is Black Swan by Clint Mansell. I think it's a really fantastic, the way that he's blended, the traditional Swan Lake themes with his kind of modern kind of terror kind of sounds. I don't know how to describe him. I'm not a very musical person, but I just think this is one of the best scores. Just that I've ever heard, just in pure ways used in the film, and then also just out of it. I think it's a pleasure to listen to. Just I just chuck it on sometimes. Yeah.
Fitzy, what is your best score?
My best score is the score for Infernal Affairs, because it was a score I didn't expect to like, which is like very melodramatic and Asian and very specific, and yeah, it definitely it vibed with the film very well, and brought me into this a totally different vibe from The Departed, where everything is taken very, very seriously and emotionally, as compared to the more flat approach, the more ironic approach, I guess. So yeah, Infernal Affairs.
My best score was June, Hans Zimmer's work there. Probably would have been No Time to Die if we actually reviewed it, but June, it was just terrific. It was just really, really, really solid. Really elevated everything on screen. Yeah, created instruments for it. You know what I mean? That's you can't get more dedicated than that. All right, let's get into best cinematography, Jayden.
3 shouts here, but I'll say Midnight in Paris is mine, which is unfortunate because of the director. But
We might get to that
we'll
later.
get to that later.
Mark.
Yeah, I just love the way the Paris is shot, both present and past. The negro between it. Like it's the city of light. It's advertised as the city of lights, and then this film keeps that up. The way that it's so warm and colorful, and I actually wonder how much of that is just in editing, actually, because of like the way it's graded. So, but I still think it is shot really well. It heavily romanticizes Paris, which is kind of the whole thing with the film. And I think it's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on that actually, when you talk about grading, not to go on a tangent, but one thing I learned recently when listening to cinematographers talk, I learned it from, I think can't remember his name, the guy who did There Will Be Blood, and he's done millions of other things too, but...
Elswit. Robert Elswit.
Yes. Him talking about cinematography, and something I never really understood is that in grading a film, that is very much also something that the cinematographer oversees in post. So that is actually cinematography in a way. I didn't really ever think that, but yeah, because I'm used to when I grade stuff, like I'm just editing it. You know what I mean? So I'm used to associate it with editing, but I guess it's a bit of both. Fitzy.
My best cinematography is David Fincher's Gone Girl. Just a very crisp and, we talked about the fog. A very cold feeling film. He's a very precise director, and the images in there are very just clean and specific and, really amazing. So, Gone Girl, yeah.
That's an excellent choice. Mine is 12 Years a Slave. Steve McQueen, man. You can't do any wrong. I don't know the cinematographer's name, my apologies, but dude, just their collaborations, my God. They produce some images, and I loved it. I remember we talked about it in the episode, just the detail in the frame and the density and the richness of it. It's gorgeous. Love that movie. Definitely a standout for cinematography in my mind this year. All right. Best and worst CG, Jayden.
I think this is the obvious answer, but best CG goes to War for the Planet of the Apes. It's like I said, it sees with all the apes, and then also with just the sets and the explosions that they do later, and just I don't know. There's not really much more to say. It looks like they actually got monkeys and paid them to act rather than people.
It was crazy. I wonder what their union stuff.
Yeah,
is
what's
like,
the salary like for a monkey, man? Ape.
Yeah.
Worst is I was tossing up between I'm gonna say Spider-Man. I was tossing up between Spider-Man and Australia, but Australia is like intentionally bad. It's just like kind of not intentionally bad, but it's kind of just Baz-Luhrmann's kind of way of doing it. But yeah, the first Spider-Man film, for 2002, you could have done better.
Yeah, Fitzy.
More of the Planet of the Apes is probably a better answer, but my best is Godzilla vs. Kong.
Good.
Big monkey.
Fight the lizard.
That's all I'll say for that one. Worst CGI. Yeah, Spider-Man's the worst CGI. Just some dodgy looking images in that one. So, like the balloon. What was that? Yeah,
that was terrible.
That was horrid.
Horrid. Yeah, so very right there with you guys. Planet of the Apes, also Dune, as well as we mentioned earlier. For best, worst is Spider-Man. I totally agree. Australia was a good shout out too. I actually forgot about that one. Best and worst editing, Jayden.
Well, this goes back to what I was talking about before with grading. So, like, now that you said cinematography, I don't know how valid it is, but I did say the most violent year, primarily for the way the film is graded. But also, I just do think it is well cut together. The way that the story is and the way you kind of intersect between Oscar Isaac and the guy that we thought was his son, but his son is just some random dude that gets beat up. I don't know. I just like the way it's chopped all together, and mainly the way it looks. And especially that, I think that train scene is also another good, not train scene, but that like where he like chases him through the train station.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way the varying length of the cuts there, and how I don't know how it's always building tension, but it doesn't always hold it because like a cut is usually kind of relieves tension a bit. So, but like the way that it continually cuts but builds tension is rather nice.
Yes, absolutely. Good shout. And worst.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Spider-Man 3. Some horrible choices. You can go. I can go as specific as that scene where Spider-Man fights Sandman down in the thing, and like you have the bolts popping off and zooming in on Sandman's face, and then also, how we just talked about the way that it continuously just breaks momentum like so violently, by cutting away to like a random thing of like I can't remember the exact example. I think like when Spider-Man when he gets the black suit and he suits up and then it cuts to hit like the lab and then it goes straight back out to him like swinging around. It's just awkward and janky. So there you go.
Yeah, good one. Liam.
My best editing is Midnight in Paris. Not necessarily because of the color grading, although that is great. Mainly because I think I talked about this in the episode, because it's a time travel story, but the actual transitions from the normal day period to the past are really smooth, and the editing there is really great and seamless. And as you kind of go further in the film, that you go further back in time as well, and then you don't notice the sudden transition as I think like he usually would, but it's just like flows really well. Midnight in Paris, and I think the comedic editing is really great as well. So yeah, that's that one.
Mm.
And then worst editing is Australia. I'm thinking specifically of the Nicole Kidman, like the introduction scene, and like when she arrives at the harbour. That's particularly egregious. Like it's cutting back and forth between her and the cattle guy and the bar and everything, and it's really frantic and really quick, even though it's like a 3-hour movie. So the editing of that is, it's really bad.
For sure, dude. My best editing is The Prestige. No doubt. It's the best editing in any film I've ever seen. The entire for the story to work in the way it does, it relies entirely on the editing. It's make or break, and it totally works. It's terrific. And my worst editing is also Australia. If you took the words right out of my mouth, I was also going to explain the introduction scene. So, good job. Yeah, that sucked. What about best and worst action sequence? A last-minute addition here, Jayden.
I mean, Bourne would be a good shout, but I think my action sequence is going to be from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, that extended cut of, I think it was Cobra on the tank, and just like the camera just rotates and it's just the way that the monkeys are just going at it, apes are going at it, and the humans, and it's just bullets and fire and just chaos, and it's but so clearly showing you what's happening, and there's no disorientation ever. I'd say that's the best action sequence. Worst? I want to say something from Gangs of New York, but frankly I don't remember it, so I can't. So I'll say the final chase from Bourne Legacy. Not because it was inherently bad, but just because it was a tired kind of thing, but it wasn't fantastic either, but it was just a tired kind of concluding kind of piece by that stage of the franchise. Definitely. Legacy is the one with Jeremy Renner, right? Yeah, that one. Yeah,
that's a great choice. Yeah. What about you, Liam?
Best action scene is the Bourne Ultimatum, Bourne versus Dash in Tangiers. Awesome, hand-to-hand choreography and super fast-paced and really kind of violent and scary. Like, genuinely like claustrophobic in that one room, and man, just an awesome action scene, bro. Yeah, I really liked it. My worst is also the Bourne Legacy. It is bad, Jayden. It is the climax of the film, and the guy who's like this superhuman asset guy or whatever they called him is like, fumbling and all over the place, and it's really dumb. So yeah, that's
So,
mine.
My best. It's not hard to go to Bourne for on I guess just all action this year, but my best is the Bourne Supremacy, and it is, I believe, the sequence in the second act where Bourne he's sort of on the run a few times. It's the one where he's sort of ducking in and out of the train, or the tram maybe, and it ends with him scaling the bridge and jumping on the boat. That one specifically. But you can sort of point to a lot of similar moments in that film as well. But god damn, dude, it is so intense. It is so unique. It is Bourne. That is a style of action sequence executed in Bourne only, and it feels distinct to that franchise, as opposed to something you'd see anywhere else, which I really love about it. And worst for me is just maybe a bit unfair, just Army of the Dead. Just the movie. Didn't really enjoy any of the action in the movie. Maybe you can point to where they're like running out of the tunnel or something. Remember that? I actually don't really remember the movie. Was it even a tunnel? I don't know. Wasn't a fan. Sorry, Zach. Fellow Zach. What about best and worst accent?
Best accent is Christian Bale in American Psycho. That kind of yuppie, upper class, that kind of bit of a drawl, and it's really it sounds rich. Worst accent is the detective in American Mary, not because I couldn't think of anything else, I guess, but it was just off. I mean, so many things about that movie were off, but his accent was very off.
Yeah. I actually deliberately I don't have American Mary anywhere here, just because I feel like it would win everything.
It's a bit cheap.
Yeah. Fitzy.
Best accent is Hugh the Jackman in The Prestige.
Yeah.
Just killer performance and accent, and this guy is Australian if you didn't know, but in the film he plays a British guy. So
He's
in the film he has
a
British accent. That's a really good British accent. But specifically, it's a very specific British accent. It's a more, he's a more wealthy person, and he definitely sounds like it. Compared to, his Christian Bale counterpart. So yeah, that's my best. Worst was hard. So I've got Cargo, apparently, because when I watched the film, I thought he was doing an Australian accent, but then you guys said he was not doing an accent.
I don't think he was.
Okay,
I don't think he was.
That's why I have it, because that's the only thing I could think of that was he's not doing it, even though he was. But
Sure. My best is Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York. It is one of the standout elements of that movie to me still. I'm sort of with Jayden where that movie was I'm with Jayden where that movie was so long and actually has turned out, other than I really like the ending, but has turned out quite forgettable in my mind, except for Daniel Day-Lewis. God bless him. So I need to shout out that. And Nicole Kidman in Australia is my worst accent, dude. It's like Fitzy already mentioned the worst performance, it's like, she is Australian. We could have just done that, if we wanted to, but we didn't. So that was a choice. How about the worst moment in a movie we reviewed this year? Let's not.
Yeah. I'm going to go for a controversial one here, because I've got 3 answers that could be accepted by all you guys, but I'm going to go for one that I just did not like, just straight up. And it was from Punch Drunk Love, and it was from the end of the movie when Adam Sandler and Philip Seymour Hoffman are just yelling "shut up" over the phone. I think it's just such a stupid sequence. It's just, there's nothing funny or engaging or anything about it. It just sucks ass. And I don't know, just not a good time at that point in the film. I'm what are you doing? It just goes away a lot.
Sure. Wow, that was controversial. It came in hot. Fitzy, have you got something as controversial as that?
No, it's a Many Saints of Newark opening. So Jane doesn't know what we're talking about, but
oh no, oh yeah.
But yeah, that was fucking funny, man. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
We
talked about it in the review without spoiling it, so you can go and you can listen there. But I did avoid that for fear of retreading ground we did last week. But yeah, absolutely. No, you're 100% right. It is the worst, actually. It's worse than the ones I've got. I've got Morgan Freeman narrating the end of War of the Worlds.
Oh man, that's good.
That was unironic. I sort of still can't believe it. I don't know if I'll be able to process that for the rest of my life, to be honest. How about our favorite category, most morally corrupt person we've reviewed this year? What about you, Jayden? What's going on?
Mr. Allen.
I don't know how seriously to take this category in terms of our reasoning,
I mean, there's just so many sus things about him. The way he's met his current wife and he groomed her when she was a teenager and shit like that, and it's just a bit of a creepy person.
Oh yeah.
But I think some of it's debate. So yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it with Mr. Woody Allen.
I'm just to be clear, there's nothing funny about the subject matter. I just I can't believe this took a turn into this. Is all I'm laughing about. Fitzy.
Well, okay. This person isn't a director or a actor, but Harvey Weinstein was executive producer on Gangs of New York, so I think that's a pretty easy choice that everyone can agree with.
Yeah, I'm sure his name's going to be tagged on a lot of things that we've reviewed, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I thought it'd be more, but Tarantino films were last year. We did Hateful Eight. He's done a bunch of Scorsese stuff.
I know I'm pretty sure he's responsible for the English distribution of Princess Mononoke.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
My choice is Tobey Maguire. Now, hear me out, okay? Now, hear me out. This man, Tobey Maguire, tried to fake a back injury to get a raise. All right, on Spider-Man 2, to the point where they recast him with Jack Gyllenhaal, if only, and then he had to go and apologize to the studio. Okay, that's wild. All right, he put us through Spider-Man 3, but not only that. All right, this man is best friends with James Franco. All right, now in universe, maybe. I feel like there's a close enough connection there to where I don't want to just say James Franco because that's cheap, So they've got a connection, and we've also got this other trivia stuff. Tobey Maguire, no doubt, most morally corrupt person. I think he should be thrown in prison, this man. I guess this is our Best Picture award, but it's just called Favourite Movie We Reviewed This Year.
Princess Mononoke is my Best Picture winner. It's definitely, all the films we talked about this year, it is just a tier above the rest. It is, I think, the only 10 I gave out. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it is just high quality. Everything that's in the review still stands. Just one of the best animated films ever made. Thematically, script-wise, story-wise, voice acting. Yeah.
My favorite film we did this year is The Bourne Identity. I did not expect to love this film as much as I did, but I thought it was super sleek action. I love the road journey kind of. What do you call when you go on a journey on a road?
Road trip.
Road trip. Road journey. Road trip. Story and Marie and everything, and just the whole blank slate, human being amnesia thing, kind of learning your identity, as the film's title suggests. But yeah, also the action is just super unique. It's very slick and well directed, and Matt Damon. I love Matt Damon in that film as well. So, and the score and everything, Logan Cox is no, not Logan Cox. That's his name in Succession. Logan.
Brian Cox.
Yeah, he's in that film too. So yeah,
he's great. Very good. I think the best movie, my favorite movie we reviewed this year was The Prestige. It's one of my favorite movies. But in terms of something that I hadn't seen before that sort of surprised me this year was definitely 12 Years a Slave. Love that movie. And it's actually more times gone on has sort of elevated itself in my mind to sort of being in the realm of my favorite movies area. Really, really loved that movie. Just Steve McQueen, man. My God, what a guy. I need to see Widows.
right.
I need to see Widows. I need to do that. And I looked at his IMDb, and it doesn't look like he's got a lot coming up in the pipeline, which is a shame. I need to see more films from him. I actually re-listened to little bits and bobs of episodes this year for different reasons, to sort of like try and remember things we did. Did you guys have any favourite episodes we reviewed this year? I asked this last year too, which I only remembered when I re-listened to it. But I think it's a good question. I got to say, I quite liked our Australia episode.
I think Infernal Affairs was a good episode.
Oh, good.
I think
Gone Girl was a good episode.
Midnight in Paris, because Benny wasn't here. So
Yeah, true.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, Many Saints of Newark, of course, because Jayden wasn't here.
yeah, obviously, yeah.
Actually, I think Gone Girl and The Bourne Supremacy were good episodes.
Yeah. I also really liked American Psycho. I really liked having Luke on for that one time. I thought that worked really well, actually. I was happy with that. All right, well, that's it for this year of Cinema Effect. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another year of a season 2 of this show that's somehow still going. When will it end? Who knows? I'd like to think one day it'll just end and we'll never, like Radio Silence, we'll never announce anything. We'll never say it. It'll just one day the last episode will go up and then that's it. No one will ever know what happened to us, I think that'd be great. But anyway, we'll return, of course. Cinema Effect will return in 2022 with our 3rd season. I don't know if we... Oh, no, I know what we're reviewing first next year. It's going to be The Matrix Resurrections, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you can... it'll be early anyway in the year, so I think that's the best we can do for announcing our next movie, so you can check that out in the cinema. And we're very excited to return to The Matrix, of course. Anyway... Thank you, Liam and Jayden, for another year of this show, of this train wreck. It's been a blast. Thank you, everyone out there. We hope you have a happy and safe holiday. Take care, have a great one, and goodbye.